The window smacked me in the back of the head.
3/4 inch MDF pieces pre-cut and ready to assemble. I use 100% glue coverage when I'm securing my pieces together. Just makes for a tighter bond. Clamps, I definitely recommend those. Makes it a lot easier when you're getting your edges flush and then ensuring that you don't have any gaps between your material. Use 1 5/8 coarse wood screws. Gapping anywhere between 3 to 5 inches is more than enough. My procedures is usually the same. If you've seen any of my videos, it's usually the bottom, the back, left, right, front, and then my ports for the most part. That'd be about how this one goes together as well. Gapping, like I said, 3 to 5 inches. You see that there. I've sunk them flush because I know this one's going to be non-wrapped. I'm really not worried about it. You can see how the seams, I always run an extra bead of glue on the inside just to be safe. It gives it a cleaner look. I don't use a lot of glue because you don't need it. Got all the bottom exterior walls put up. Now I get ready to start with the ports. Outlining everything, getting my location, seeing where they're going to be located, make sure my gaps are even. I always do that on all of them. Then I start the pre-assembly. I assemble the ports outside of the box just because it's less of a fight. It's much easier. Here I'm using 1 1/4 screws to tie the two together, putting some end supports on the inside of the port just to make it thicker, more rigid. Then I'll use that router to put a round over on the ends. Then sand a little bit by hand, whatever that router missed. Clamps, screws, no gapping. Gotta love that look. Now I'll start tying in the front part of the port to the rear. Same steps, 1 5/8 screws, 3 to 5 inch gapping and clamps. Hit it with a bead of glue on the inside, wipe it away. Put a small round over there. You got twins. Now I can start getting ready to install both pieces. I'll pre-drill them because I'm not tracing the bottom side, so I know where to drill. So when I put my screws in, I clamp it in place, there'll be no missing. Did some flush drilling there, pre-sinking my holes. Got them masked off, and I'll just paint what you'll be able to see when you're looking down the port only. No point in wasting that extra paint. Cover up for overspray, minimize that. I think most of the time I use flat black, kind of what I use out of aerosol can. Manufacturer don't matter. Like I said, cheap to expensive. That taping it off helps to get you a cleaner look. There you go with that 100% glue coverage. Get creative when you have to clamp in awkward situations. Get you an even clamp down. That side secure in place. Everything matches up, no gaps down on the bottom where you can see the color. Repeated the steps on the other side. Now I'm gonna put some 1 1/4 inch wooden dowel bracing, one on each side of the back side, to tie the back of the port to the back wall to give it rigidity as well. Just kind of go in the middle. Pre-drill those, line them up. Hit it with a little bit of glue. And they're in. That kind of ties everything together. I don't know what I'm doing here, hang on. Oh, okay, putting some 45s in. I didn't know which step I was on. Got a little rough angle there, so I'm going to have to put an extension on it. Couldn't get past it with my drill. There we go. You got to get creative with this custom stuff. Some of this stuff isn't planned out. You got to adapt. All 45s in. Got it looking clean. I'm going to add some more bracing here. Cut 45s on each side. Airflow is key. You put those in accordingly. Usually they say 12-inch gaps. If you got a wall that's at least 12 inches, you need to put a brace in there. You can use that at your own discretion. Marking out, getting ready to cut the subs now. So I go ahead and get these pre-cut because I'm going to do some magnet bracing on these. Measuring out the subwoofer cutout, ID, because I do not trust factory specs. I'm trying to get everything level so I can put these magnet supports in there. It helps. It really helps to take some of the strain off that front basket, off the basket and the baffle. Whether you double baffle it or not, it helps. Trust me, I've seen it. So screwed and glued those together, 3 pieces, 3/4 inch pieces. Put a small round over on the top and all sides except for the bottom. Won't need that. And then sand it away whatever I could by hand. Not that it'll be seen, but just cosmetic. I love the way it looks. Get the burn marks off of it. Now I'm positioning it, got it all marked out, and I'm going to pre-drill from the bottom. That way I can set these screws in place. Press the block down on top of it. It'll imprint the holes, and I can pre-drill the bottom of the blocks. Slap the glue on top of it, and then screw it in place. Again, it just rules out the guessing. You can see the imprints there on the left and right of the B. I'll pre-drill that, slap a little glue on it. That was that. Man, this box is coming together. That's some sawdust in the back. That wasn't glue. I know what y'all was thinking. What's this step, BJ? Oh, this is for I think the center part of the port. Yes, that's what I'm put for air direction flow. I don't think it needed it. I've never done it, but I wanted to try it. So here we go. Trying to end up cutting that triangle out because I'm keeping the same gapping on my port. You want to keep that the same so you're not restricting, you're not building any pressure. It maintains the same airflow, the aim pressure all the way through. Sanded that point down by hand. Get it rounded now. Go ahead and fill in some of them screw holes. When I cut the angles, it exposed some of the screws. Hit it with some of that homemade wood filler, patent pendant, of course. Sand it down, put a little primer on it, and hit it with, I think, 3 coats of black is what I hit that with. Put some glue, screwed it into place. I think I used 1 1/4 inch on those as well. Put some wood wedges in there just to keep it secure up against it so it wouldn't walk away. Now I think I'm masking off, getting ready to paint the top because I'm getting ready to seal it up. Again, overspray, only marked out what I needed to paint. Marked out all my bracing, my 45s, traced everything on it on the outside. Put some masking tape on the top just to prevent glue runoff. Be easier to clean up later. That's why I do that. Hit it with some silicone, all the interior pieces. Now I'm gonna add the first baffle, I think. Secondary baffle, sorry about that. Roughed out the subwoofer hose, the jigsaw first, and I'll hit it with the flush trim bit. Knock everything else away. Same thing with the port. Oh yeah, looking good. Now that's the speaker terminal spots, I believe. Pre-drilled those out. I think it's 1/4 inch bolts, if I'm not mistaken, what I'm gonna use through that one. Just standard grade 5. That's all those words. Flat washers, nuts, lock washers. Marked it all off, color coded it accordingly, inside and out. This box was originally designed not to be seen, but we're gonna cover it with beauty panels and everything. So I'm going to wrap the front only because you'll be able to look through the armrest and look back at the subwoofer. So I took a piece of 1/4 inch MDF, put a little rabbit edge on the inside so I can tuck around the port and just wrap the front part only in fabric. Now I can move on to the interior of the car and start getting ready to build supports for the speakers and the rear deck. The front, the original speakers were gutted out. The front baffle was completely broken and busted. So I'm having to make my own to fit off in there using cardboard templates, cutting out with a box blade and scissors to get the fit right. That's what I'm doing now for the driver and the passenger side and the front dash. So once I get it to the form that I like, I take a piece of 1/4 inch hardboard and transfer it onto it, cut it out with a jigsaw, and I do a bunch of back and forth test fitting. And I make it tight so I won't have to add any screws, so it pressure fits in there. That's why you got all the different shapes and angles and stuff like that. It doesn't vibrate. I've already tried knocking on it, hitting on it, sliding it. It's a solid fit. And then after I cut the holes out and before I put it in permanent, I'll add some weather stripping, some foam weather stripping to add that extra security to keep it, make sure it gets solid and tight and it will not move. So that's the cutout templates for the front speakers. I think they were 2-inch tweeters, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 1/4 or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but anyway, got it centered out to where the magnets don't hit anything below. Cut it out with the jigsaw, sanded the edges, and I'll do the little mounting clips so I can secure those in place, make sure they don't go anywhere. Try to give that factory custom look, you know. And there's that weather stripping I was talking about. Just get that at any Walmart or whatever. And that just helps secure it in place. Like I said, it's already tight with that 1/4-inch hardboard, but that just took it over the top and made it really tight when I pushed everything down in there. Made it one with the dash. Got all the speaker wires ran out through the holes. Bottoms is the after, the tops is the before. Now to jump to the rear deck, remove that 5th brake light, or the 3rd brake light. 5, I don't know where I got that from. Strip the carpet and the hardboard off the rear deck. Getting the layout to see where I can actually move everything, how it's gonna fit. It won't be mounted like that. I'm just trying to get my spacing for underneath, making sure I'm not hitting anything that I can't really cut through. Get the templates, factory templates cardboard. I think I made that one. I drew it out so I can use that as my template because these speakers were heavy and I got tired of taking them in and out, in and out. Traced everything with a marker. Took the old trusty Dremel. I went through 2 Dremels. Yes, 2 Dremels and I think 4 bits cutting this rear deck out. Nice tight fit. Kill mat was already in there. I didn't put any of that in there. When he bought the car, it was already in the trunk. But you see the gapping in there, that was because they had those 6x9s in there. That's why that hole's in there. So placement was key. You can see it. Gotta be real careful with that. It was a lot of back and forth, which I'll have to beef up that rear deck because of all the holes that I'm cutting in it. You'll see that later. There's the original carpet and fabric off the rear deck. That's my cardboard, using it as a template. Set it over the hose, traced it from the bottom, and then cut them out. Then I can set it back in because I'm going to use that cardboard template as a transfer when I put it on the MDF. I think I used 1/2-inch MDF on that. Again, that's still cardboard. That's cardboard those are sitting in. So now you can't see those extra holes cut out for the 6x9s. It looks better. So now I'm gonna transfer that template over to this 1/2-inch piece of MDF. And there we go, there's the MDF in there now. Digging the look out. So now, get ready to jig. Well, no, I didn't cut it out yet. I added some padding. That's what it was. I added some padding in there just to eliminate rattle, any rattle I may have had. That's my cover board. That's going to go over the top of the speakers, making their own baffles, giving them a cleaner look, covering up all your holes, your screw holes, and then making my own grills as well. Got some metal mesh. Cut those out by hand, 10 snips. Because a lot of your loudspeakers don't come with grill covers, so I had to make my own. Yeah, I like that look. Oh yeah. Took it outside, primed them, hit it with a coat of primer. And there's the original fabric off the rear deck. And I like using the original because it cleans up. You see the bottom, and then I clean the top. So it comes back looking good. Removed it, and that way everything is already pre-cut, ready to roll. There's the grill covers painted. Then the screw snaps, that's those other secondary holes you see in there. And I'll be snapping those in over the top of the screws when I secure it down to the rear deck. There's that third brake light, making sure that cutout's gonna fit. Final coat. Now I can go ahead and use some spray glue and attach this to the rear deck lid. Put some thin fabric on the bottom as well. Again, I'm panicking about vibration issues. I don't want to do that metal. I want to try to dampen anything that I can. That way you don't have to take it back off. Did my cuts, rolled them under, pulled them through, sprayed them again on the bottom side, flipped it over. That's what it looks like from the top. Just got the grill cover setting in there now. Trying to figure out how I want to twist them, which angle I like, long ways or vertical or the pattern. And I just pressed them into place, get some hot glue, and ran 2 layers of bead around the backside. Secure those into place. Wiring them up now. I think that was 16 gauge OFC. I think that's what he bought. Again, weather stripping. Screwed them into place, set everything back down. And that's it. That's that rear deck lid. Had 2 6x9s, and that was out 4 6.5s and 2 tweeters. Everything installed. Brake light back in. All right, insides are complete. Now we can start on the trunk. Again, the kill mat was already on the car when I got it. All right, I'm gonna start with the amp rack first. Amps are gonna be across the back by the back seat. I'm trying to figure out a way I can secure it to the car without putting a whole lot of screws in it. I don't like doing that. So, started with the base for the amps that they're gonna sit on. I'll sit right up there like that, and I'm gonna add me a front face piece at an angle that'll tie into where you put the spare tire used to sit. There's a stud sitting in there. I'm trying to utilize that. 100% glue into 5/8 screws. I'm gonna wrap it. Again, it's not gonna be seen, but I always act like it is. Put a little padding on it. That's gonna be on the bottom side again because it's on metal. And hit it with some flat black. And there's that bolt I was talking about. I'm gonna utilize that for the back support. Did a little traced out where the amps will be, so I know where I'm looking like for my spacers, get them off the ground to help with that airflow. Now there's my 2 brackets. I'm gonna tie the front part of the amp rack in to the frame of the back seat. Got the passenger on the driver's side, got the passenger side. So I got 3 points of contact now. And it's solid. Got the amp setting in place. Another test fit, see how it looks. See if I need to change anything. Thinking about how the speaker wires are gonna run, the power and grounds, all that stuff. Yeah, I think that's gonna work out. Now for the box subframe. A lot of times guys just throw them off in there, throw some screws to the floor. No, that's a lot of weight on the back end of this Cadillac and I don't want it shifting, so I made a subfloor, 3/4 inch MDF, stacked it up, cross brace. See, I'm going in between each groove, each dip in that trunk, because you know these trunks are not flat. And I'm still going with the same contour of the trunk, so everything flows right, because again, we're still gonna put beauty panels in it, and I want everything to flow even with a nice slope to the back. That's right, 34 pounds just for the subframe. Put the carpet back in, tucked it all around the amp rack. I didn't take it out. Put the subfloor in, and I ran bolts all around the outside, coming up on the outside, and all that was all around outside of the gas tank. I had to crawl up under the car, see the stud bolts sticking up. That's where those come in place. Bolted from the bottom up. It's one with the car, it won't go anywhere. That number times 2. All right, got them wired up. Got to put the subs in the box before we put it in, because again, we're facing it forward. Can't do that. 8 gauge OFC. I think that was 2 inch 12 point screws. I can't remember. All right, we're gonna try to load it in. I wasn't gonna load it by myself. This box was solid, so I went down to the shop and got that old cherry picker. and called the customer, told him to come on up here too. I needed some help. That made it so much easier. So much easier. Yeah, he couldn't believe it. He'd look at him over there laughing. I was laughing just as hard. Then I secured the box to the subfloor with 3/4 inch strips of MDF and some 1 5/8 wood screws.
They got